Hello everyone, I'm Ma'am Shomi and I'm back again with my grammar masterclass for everyone. Anybody who is interested in learning English grammar must watch this entire video to understand what an adjective clause is. What is an adjective clause? In this video, I will tell you the definition along with the rules to identify adjective clauses. Now look at the blackboard and see what I am writing. An adjective clause does the work of an adjective. An adjective clause qualifies a noun or pronoun. Now, what is an adjective? An adjective is a describing word. For example, he is a lazy boy. What kind of boy? Lazy boy. Another sentence, he is a boy who is lazy. Two different sentences but same meaning. In sentence number 1, lazy boy, lazy is the adjective, and in sentence number 2, the group of words who is lazy is adjective clause. Who is the subject and is lazy is the predicate, since a clause has a subject and predicate of its own. Understood? It is easy to make a sentence having an adjective clause if you remember the following rules. You will be able to identify the clauses, the three clauses that you will do. The adjective clause, the adverb clause and the noun clause. In this video, we will do only the adjective clause and see. The adjective clause begins with words like who, whom, whose, which, that, what, and these are relative pronouns. Learn these by heart. Adjective clause identification will become easier. An adjective clause also begins with words like when, where, why, or how, and these are relative adverbs. These are relative adverbs. And an adjective clause is put just after the noun or pronoun which it qualifies. Now trust me students, this is very easy. Once you go through the entire video, the entire concept of adjective clause will become clearer to you. So all the best and stay with us. Now I will explain a really important rule which you can hardly miss. So students, kindly pay attention and look at the board. I will explain this rule with the help of a few examples. Let's read the first example. It is a place where tourists come for the scenic beauty. Now try finding out the noun in this sentence. Come on. And say the second sentence. We have funds which would be enough for the work. In this sentence also find out the noun. In the first sentence, we will see that the word place is the noun. I will soon put it in a box. So here it is. Place is a noun. And in the second sentence, the word funds is a noun. After you have found out the noun, ask a question mentally. And what is that question? Of what kind? Of what kind? In the first sentence, what kind of place? Where tourists come for the scenic beauty. And of what kind of funds which would be enough for the work. So always remember this, of what kind, and do this mentally. Find out the noun and then ask of what kind. I am repeating this again and again because this will help you in identifying the adjective clause very easily. Let's see some other examples as well and let's find out whether we can apply this rule. Sentence number 1. The scouts who walked first bore a silken banner. In this sentence, noun, scouts. Of what kind of? Scouts who walked first bore a silken banner. Those scouts. So our adjective clause, who walked first bore a silken banner. See, I can easily apply this rule and it is easy now. Next sentence, the woodcutter felled the trees that grew in the woods. The woodcutter felled the trees that grew in the wood. Why did I underline that grew in the wood? It is our adjective clause because the noun is trees, and of what kind of trees? That grew in the wood. Sometimes the main clause is broken in two parts to bring the adjective clause just after the subject of the main clause. Sentence number 1. The boy who was missing has now been found. In this sentence, the main clause is divided into two parts. The subject, the boy. What kind of a boy? Who was missing. And here the adjective clause is put just after the subject of the main clause. Clear? Now, sentence number 2. The time when the bus leaves is not known. In this sentence also, we will divide the main clause, we will break the main clause in two parts to bring the adjective clause just after the subject of the main clause. Here, the subject of the main clause is the time and the adjective clause is when the bus leaves. Another rule. An adjective clause may also be introduced by as and but when they are relative pronouns. We can begin with whom, whose, what, they and so on, but we can also use as and but. This is the same book as I use, and there was no one but wept at the sad tale of his suffering. So, let me explain this rule to you. In the first sentence, I have used as. This is the same book. What kind of book? As I use. And in the second sentence, there was no one but wept at the sad tale of his suffering. As but relative pronouns. Remember this. Okay? Here, but is equal to who did not. There was no one who did not weep at the sad tale of his suffering. So, this is also easy. Adjective clauses worksheet. Underline the adjective clauses in the following sentences. The artists who performed now are my students. Find out the noun. Here the noun is artists. And of what kind? Who performed now. So your adjective clause will be who performed now. Underline it. Is this the coffee shop where you mostly spend your free time? Noun, coffee shop. And of what kind of coffee shop? Where you mostly spend your free time. Underline where you mostly spend your free time. Joe, whom we interviewed first, is selected for the job. Joe, and then divide the main clause in two parts. Joe, whom we interviewed first, find out the noun, that is Joe, and then ask of what kind. Joe, whom we interviewed first. Okay, so your adjective clause will be whom we interviewed first. Underline the words. Next one. The cake that she bought was delicious. Noun, cake. What kind of cake? That she bought. So, your adjective clause will be that she bought. Underline that she bought. The game which we played yesterday ended in a tie. Noun, game. What kind of game? Which we played yesterday? That game. So, your adjective clause will be which we played yesterday. Next, do you know the woman whose picture is in the magazine? Noun, woman. What kind of woman? Whose picture is in the magazine. So, follow this trick and apply this trick and you will get your answer. In this case, the adjective clause is whose picture is in the magazine. Underline these words. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. In this sentence, noun is head. What kind of head? That wears the crown. There was no one but shed a tear over his misfortune. The adjective clause, but shed a tear over his misfortune. This is a house where my friend lives. Noun is house, and what kind of house? Where my friend lives. And here the adjective clause begins with relative adverb where my friend lives. The next few sentences. The leaders who we elected will commence work next week. Leaders, noun. What kind of leaders? Who we elected. Will commence work next week. So, don't use the verb. Just see the noun, ask the question of what kind, and the answer will be your adjective clause. I like to watch movies which make me laugh. Movies, noun. What kind of movies which make me laugh? The mangoes that I bought were delicious. Noun, mangoes. What kind of mangoes that I bought will be your adjective clause. The relative pronoun or the relative adverb introducing an adjective clause is sometimes omitted. For example, they broke all the toys the child collected. Here, the relative pronoun which is understood. They broke all the toys which the child had collected. Since it is understood, it is omitted. There is no problem in omitting it. So your adjective clause here will be the child collected. I could not answer the question you asked. Okay? So here also which you asked, which is omitted. Next, eat all you can. Eat all that you can. It is implied and therefore you need not use it here. The adjective clause will be you can. The money you gave me was spent. That or which you gave me was spent, hence omitted. Now students, observe this sentence very carefully. The umbrella which has a broken handle is mine. In this sentence, noun is umbrella. What kind of umbrella? Which has a broken handle. Therefore, which has a broken handle is our adjective clause. And in the adjective clause also, which is the subject, has a broken handle is the predicate. Because an adjective clause has a subject and predicate of its own. In fact, all clauses have a subject and predicate of its own, and herein lies a difference between a clause and a phrase, because a phrase does not have a subject and predicate of its own. This is our adjective clause. Our next videos will be on adverb clause and noun clause. So everyone, if you like this video, kindly subscribe to our channel Study English with Momita and Show Me. Till then, stay safe and may God bless you.